8 out of 10 pop punk bands cannot afford their basic needs in this post-COVID Blink-182 world. And much like Bernie, we are asking for your support.
Have you ever lied awake at night? Fraught with guilt? Wondering how you can help your local pop punk bands?
Do your friends and their friends post pictures and videos of their new pop punk project and you feel the urge to help out?
Do you consume record amounts of alcohol, wondering intensively how you could do your part?
Just one case of empty beer bottles can help your favorite pop punk band never grow up.
Your donation of empty alcohol containers will help fund the following projects.
Your empties can keep this alive! Contact Adam, Mike, Keegan, or Cheddar to arrange a pickup or drop-off, or you can make a donation online at 30goingon13.com. Don't forget to follow us on all socials and your favorite streaming platform.
Yeah, high score.
Eight out of 10 pop punk bands cannot afford their basic needs in this post-COVID Blink-182 world. And much like Bernie, we are asking for your support.
Have you ever lied awake at night? Fraught with guilt? Wondering how you can help your local pop punk bands?
Do your friends and their friends post pictures and videos of their new pop punk project and you feel the urge to help out?
Do you consume record amounts of alcohol, wondering intensively how you could do your part?
Just one case of empty beer bottles can help your favorite pop punk band never grow up.
Your donation of empty alcohol containers will help fund the following projects.
Your empties can keep this alive! Contact Adam, Mike, Keegan, or Cheddar to arrange a pickup or drop-off, or you can make a donation online at 30goingon13.com. Don't forget to follow us on all socials and your favorite streaming platform.
Yeah, high score.
Start the punk rock show. For a dirty, rough and tumble show, nothing beats to die. It's where I spent the best nights of my life. Nights I can't remember, but I want to forget. Punk rock is dead, it's still alive. Tonight, at the world's greatest dive.
8 out of 10 pop punk bands cannot afford their basic needs in this post-COVID Blink-182 world. And much like Bernie, we are asking for your support.
Have you ever lied awake at night? Fraught with guilt? Wondering how you can help your local pop punk bands?
Do your friends and their friends post pictures and videos of their new pop punk project and you feel the urge to help out?
Do you consume record amounts of alcohol, wondering intensively how you could do your part?
Just one case of empty beer bottles can help your favorite pop punk band never grow up.
Your donation of empty alcohol containers will help fund the following projects.
Your empties can keep this alive! Contact Adam, Mike, Keegan, or Cheddar to arrange a pickup or drop-off, or you can make a donation online at 30goingon13.com. Don't forget to follow us on all socials and your favorite streaming platform.
Yeah, high score.
Tomorrow don't come. Tomorrow don't come. If tomorrow don't come. Start the punk rock show. world's greatest dive.
There we go. Welcome back to another episode of Live at Lifted, the Stay Lifted Movie Club. We're here for a 420 session. Got our bongs ready. If you noticed, we've been playing some 30 Going on 13 stuff to advertise the fact that they just dropped a new video and a new song to go with that video on all streaming platforms, new videos on YouTube.
This is news to me.
What are you talking about? The Nemesis video, the Nemesis track.
I'm into that.
Although I did tell you about the drop originally. You're like, oh, it is coming out now? Like, and I wasn't sure if that was you didn't know or
Sometimes I think I'm told things and they just go in one ear and out the other.
could be all the week.
Bongo time.
Bongo time.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, I was going to apologize that last week we did one stream all week, but normally we did 4. And say a huge thank you to our sponsor, Mad Dog Labs, for this modified banana and grapes.
Is that what we just had?
100% all the weed, according to your bass player. I tell him everything, but I tell him everything he needs to know. He just forgets.
I do think I was told there was a show that was canceled and I forgot.
But
maybe there was something mentioned.
I think you might have something going on this Thursday.
Yes, at the Queens and Barrie.
You guys are playing with a Fat Records band that night?
Yep.
What band is that?
Why put me on the spot like this?
Because I thought you knew.
Yeah.
But most importantly, 30 Going on 13's playing at the Queens, and that is what makes the difference and what matters.
Is it Latchkey?
No. I can almost guarantee it's not Latchkey.
It just popped in my head.
No, Latchkey played last Thursday at the Queens.
That's why it was in my head.
I'm sure that's why. Never a joke made on air.
I'm just a drummer. I hang out with the 4 musicians.
That's true. That is very true. You just bang shit while the other musicians make music. But what we're actually talking about is not 30 Going on 13 today. We're going to talk about Thor because we talked about Thor last week, but I forgot how to get PowerPoint up because it wasn't installed. And as soon as I closed everything last week, I closed the window and right in the middle of my desktop is the folder for installing all of Microsoft Office.
Again,
The Last Gang. The band you're playing with is called The Last Gang.
Stoner Show. I have a quote here from Taika Waititi about Thor. It says, "Love and Thunder is a fantastic film and cooler than he expected it to be."
He made it.
Yes, there's a picture of him giving himself a medal here I have on my phone.
He does like himself a lot.
That's an actual quote from the creator of his own film saying it's way cooler and better than he thought it would.
And with Taita, I'm not sure
Taika Waititi.
if he is fully woke on himself and meta, or
I
if
don't
he
think
is
so.
the level of delusional they play him as often. Because like he's pretty out there. He's in another world sometimes.
Yes, I think he's actually probably really. All his films are amazing, so he's really good at making films. But I think he's not all there either.
Definitely not all there. He's in his own world, and I mean just his rebranding or reimagining of Thor through Ragnarok shows exactly
I just thought maybe,
how weird and creative
maybe
he
he's
is.
a little bit of the Kanye of film. Like, I'm the greatest ever. It's like, dude, you are really good.
No, that'd be like
But-
Martin Scorsese. I'm still mad at him.
For what? I don't know enough about.
Marvel isn't movies; they're theater, their theme parks.
I mean, I know what he's talking about a little bit.
Listen, just because you don't necessarily like the genre, you cannot take away from directors like Jon Favreau and Taika Waititi for the masterpieces they've created within. Yes, I get that these are spectacles, but they're also massively dramatized comic books that, yeah, I just hate his because Tom Holland explained it better and was nice about it afterwards. And he was like, yes, these are like that because, and maybe this is what Scorsese meant.
So that's what I mean.
I like that. You don't know what he said, but you're like, well, that's my point.
No, he's not inaccurate in calling them equivalent.
Bugs me so much.
And this is perfect for me to bring up something I discovered this week. I got recommended a Nerd of the Rings, Lord of the Rings video. And it was like this channel I'd never seen. And I watched a video about like who is Tom Bombadil, one of the characters in the novels. And good God, I was in love with this channel immediately. I watched a 20-minute video and then more after. And he just goes through all the lore of the Lord of the Rings world. And yes, it's boring and slow compared to this, but I'm like,
it sounds so much better than the movies.
No, the movies were. That's what I mean, though. They're not amusement rides. They're not, and that's why. That's the difference, I think, that Scorsese's doing.
Kevin, got you to synchronize there.
Yeah.
The feeling when Bambi grows up. I don't know what he's referencing now. That comment might have been up for a minute. Now I don't know where we were. That's the biggest problem. I never know where we are, where we were when
so
people.
late to the chat.
We don't always get to the chat right away. Which after our subscription's up, so Wednesday we might be on a whole new software doing this way easier and way better. Yeah. In fact, there's a good chance we're going to look a lot like 30 Going on 13's channel, and it's 419, so we need to pack a bowl.
Anyway. If you like Lord of the Rings, check out the Nerd of the Rings channel.
Okay, but is it a want to like? If I like the books, I should watch this, or if I like the movies, I should watch this.
The books.
Okay, then I'll definitely watch that channel. Again, I am a fan of the books,
but the movies
are horrible.
Feel like the book.
Not at all.
Like not the Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King.
Yeah, it felt better reading it than ever watching that boring bullshit. I guess because I can also choose to read faster. And I can't fast forward that piece of shit landscape film. Well, the more you make me talk about it, the more my aggression's going to grow.
Slugs with soft spikes in their backs. That's scary sounding.
Happy 420. Send us pictures.
Spiky slugs.
Oh, right. He's in Hawaii, so I mean, a little closer to Fukushima than us.
Godzilla could come out near Hawaii.
That laugh cough just made me see stars. Everything is blurry. I can't focus on anything. My eyes aren't back yet. Wow.
Good hit.
Happy 420. See, I always advocate just holding your cough in for that second so you don't totally destroy yourself. You can prep for it and then and then soar. But in that case, wow, the pressure. Wow. Excellent. Yes, please send us the video. You can, I don't know, find us on, send it to us on Instagram. Because I was trying to think of where we can actually be reached. That was a big bowl. Coming from the guy that empties out half of every bowl I've ever packed him. And I think I'm packing him next to nothing. And he still empties out half of it. So let's not point out baby lung crew here. As well, he made me laugh. Oh, wow. That was a really good 420 hit. Now I'm nicely stoned. What were we talking about again? Spiky slugs?
Yes, and how watching this Nerd of the Rings video.
Is there spiky slugs in Lord of the Rings? Nerd of the Rings?
Probably somewhere. It really made me realize, this is the vision of a world of one person who just passionately created it. Not a corporation that also has to, make shareholders happy and sell tickets and follow focus groups and market research.
What do you mean, like the books are? Or this channel is?
It just reminded me of a pre-existing property, if you want to call it that doesn't follow all the rules of modern day stuff. It's like, oh man, I really like that. And watching our old movies we're going to be reviewing tonight reminded me of that too, a bit less. Like, wow, these really feel like passion projects where...
Well, I mean, 8mm definitely is. Con Air was a massive studio production.
But it's ridiculous. It feels so much better than the crap they put out today.
And Schumacher's Face Off. Like
John Woo.
Megan, or John Woo, sorry, Schumacher did
Con Air.
Yeah. John Woo's Face Off. My wife spent that whole movie angry.
Why?
Oh, she just pointed out every physiological difference between them two. And she just kept like, she couldn't let it to a point where I'm like, honey, just, you have to suspend belief if you're going to enjoy any of this fucking film. I just kept telling her it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse. Because by the end, the dude stole a child. He got a mom killed. He killed the dad and then took the fucking kid.
We're talking about Nick Cage movie.
Such a bad movie.
But you're a member now. Baby Long Curry.
Would you like some hash water rosin from our sponsor?
Yes, I really would.
Mad Dab Labs. We are doing Khalifa Mints hash rosin. So Khalifa Mints
I could pick the Lord of the Rings movies.
No.
Extended edition, the 4-hour versions.
Won't watch. We'll get a guest host that week, and I will stay upstairs and get high.
The Spiky Slug.
Well, post a video on your YouTube, and we will come check it out there. See, Keegan can... Blitzkrieg Keeg can come do Lord of the Rings with you and Ryan, and I'll just produce that show. I'm never going to watch them again.
I think I want to read the books again. After
I'm down for that.
Channel.
I just promise you, I will never watch the films again. I got duped the last time into watching them. I'm still angry about it. I will never watch them again.
Do you know who Tom... What's your impression of Tom Bombadil? Was he in the Hobbit movies? I think they threw him in, even though he wasn't supposed to be there.
No, he's not. That's talked about.
Okay.
In many reviews of it, that because I don't remember the character right, like off the top of my head, but I remember the name, and I'm pretty sure it's talked about the fact that he's not in that.
No, wait, they did have him, and he's not at all who he's supposed to be. He's like,
or is that it? Like he's just way different than he is in the books.
Yeah,
but everything's different than it is in the books.
Because the Hobbit movies are terrible. Thank you.
I like the Hobbit movies. They're an exciting romp through Elvish country, not Elvish country. Oh, you want hash rosin dabs? Well, I mean, you know where the studio is. I think you have the door code even. Come on over. But no, I'm not I like the Hobbit movies, and Lord of the Rings is just too slow and too boring. And I mean, that's something you read on a lazy Saturday afternoon, not a way you destroy a whole weekend with 18 hours of dumb footage.
I guess my perspective is what you call slow and boring is what actually things should more be like. It's just the modern day go, information overload.
Don't blame that. It's just not a good movie. I'm not the only person that thinks this.
They're perfect.
I love slow burn movies that pay off.
But they're not trying to pay off. They're trying to follow the
No, I mean slow burn movies that are put together well and pay off in the end. The reason
what don't you like about this?
I use the words over and over again. It's slow and boring.
But you say some stuff is that way.
They cut out like half the action for more walking.
I feel they added way more action.
But again, you have to imagine the books as you're reading them, right? So it's just not my interpretation. It's not how I imagine them, and I just find them repetitively boring. And if I could, if you want, I can walk across camera 3 times and throw a ring at your face to demonstrate the whole 3 films. But we don't have to steal Kevin Smith's bit entirely. I'm just not a fan.
Then I look at The Hobbit where they're going through the barrels in the water and all that ridiculous scene. In the books, they just hide.
Well, that is what you were saying before, though. That movie's good. Those movies are good just because they're that. Like they're just fun. They never stop. They're action packed. I don't compare them to.
But here's what happened in the books in that scene. They hid in the barrels, and then they just managed to float past the guards. That was it. that was like, and then they pop out and they get away. There's no chase. There's no fight. There's no action. They hide in barrels.
I mean, we should read The Hobbit then.
Yeah, that's the one I
Because
actually like
those
better
are these movies that I'd be like, all right, let's read and watch these, and then we can spend a week doing just The Hobbit. We'll read the book in advance. We'll watch the 3 movies, and then we'll use this evening to.
The Hobbit's my favorite out of all, like from the books.
I figured.
Yeah.
But you hate the movies the most because they're not bad representation, right?
They're like Michael Bay versions of stuff.
Still made by your man, though.
Oh, he says I messed it up. I didn't do a good job on them. They're terrible. Peter Jackson has said that about the Hobbit movies.
And like I said, I sort of enjoy. I'm not a big champion for the Hobbit films, but I'm a huge fan of both Cumberland.
Benedict Cumberbatch, is he even in them?
Yes, he's Smaug.
Oh, right. His voice.
And his trusty sidekick.
Why do you do that A-list celebrities voice?
Oh my god, you need to watch the mocap of him doing it. He's creepy. Like, they could have just used the mocap video and it would have been scary. He's constantly crawling on the ground, making faces. He's so good that it's actually worth watching a behind-the-scenes video.
I now that you say that, because I can picture some scenes where he's
and he gets all creepy. Like, he looks like the chick from The Ring. I'm like, wow, good acting. Like, and he's not even being filmed technically. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just shows a level of professionalism and being a great
I just
actor.
know that there's 1,000 actors that could do as good a job that it didn't need to be him, A-list celebrity.
Well, why couldn't it be him? He's also best friends with the main actor in the film. Remember, they both started on Sherlock. That's where they that's where they got popular.
Oh yeah, now you get into the whole like Hollywood's just one big club and you ain't in it.
Well, I know, but those two. Okay, but in this case, those two came from the BBC together. They're British actors that have stayed close. They're really good friends. They remain good friends to this day. So yeah, when they needed a Smaug, and he's like, no, I know a dude that will do this great. Benedict wasn't even. He was still only Sherlock famous at that point. I think The Hobbit started before Doctor Strange. The film.
And now you're naming 3 huge cultural icon things that he's all in, including Star Trek, throwing another. It's like, for God's sakes, can we just stop giving everything to the same 3 people? Like, in everything in the world ever? Like,
what? But there's 2 ways to look at this. Because remember, I even said I was getting mad with Ryan Reynolds because he's in everything, but then we watched one of his old movies, like, no, he deserves it. He's a good actor. And we're in the middle of doing Nick Cage. But all the common thread between some of these actors, like, give credit where credit's due. Some of them are really good actors. Benedict Cumberbatch is a great actor. Martin Freeman is a great actor. And honestly, Nick Cage in his own right is a brilliant ham actor and a great character actor. As again, we're watching
all these movies. He's so good in them. Like, he's a different person.
In every this case,
I know he's a joke now, but holy crap!
And it's neat to see the scenes that make him a joke because we're watching them now. Like in the movies, there's certain scenes where
I take your face.
Oh my god, the stone part's brilliant, which we're going to get deep into tonight. But that's where the joke started with him and where they'll continue to go. But I believe that some actors have earned not the money they make, but the jobs they've done.
I guess I just want to. I'm like, man, the world really does just become monopolies of everything. Like everything just consolidates to.
Okay, but would you want a lesser programmer just so it was a different person with the job?
I think you're phrasing the question wrong. I think that there's equally talented programmers. It's just the same few get the same chance.
Would you want a less tried and trusted and true programmer on your team versus one that you can rely on?
I think of it more as don't put all your eggs in one basket and diversify more and because the vision of one person is always just going to be that. Whereas if you have 1,000 visions, you're going to.
Now, when we're talking about the days of like Tom Cruise being put in a film because his name sold the film, didn't matter if he was good in it. He was the biggest actor, put him in it. Brad Pitt, biggest actor, put him in it. A lot of these actors do get that just because they're big or they're handsome, and actresses as well. You know, some have just the right breast size, they have the right sex appeal, they play the right parts.
They always say yes to Harvey Weinstein.
I was not going to get into that because we're talking about both male and female actors at the moment. But hey, apparently there's a lot with the male actors and female producers and stuff as well. So I guess it's kind of, I don't know. I don't want to get into that side of it. I want to talk about some of these actors actually earn their parts.
I guess I had the same problem with Andy Serkis, where it's like, Jesus Christ, there's other motion capture actors, because
Oh yeah. Well, at least they finally let him act as himself for a couple movies.
and that's again against my points, where it's like he's already done everything. You don't need to give him another Hollywood.
But he was a
role.
good Alfred.
Yeah, and there's
Well, as
8
they've
billion
made Alfred less British and more royal, and made him more into a, fucking badass like Batman, and like he's like Batman version 1 and Bruce Wayne's 2.0, because he's a MI6 agent apparently. Now that the more we progress in films and in comics, they've made Alfred more and more like military based. Do you know what I mean?
And again, we're still into that meta conversation of, hey, we're talking about the remakes of Batman, and everything's a reboot and a sequel, and it's like more of the same.
I bitch about this all the time.
Yeah. But I'm trying to apply it to actors as well, and you're saying no.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm saying that some actors have earned their part, and some actors just get the roles because they're pretty. But in the actors we were speaking about specifically, I believe they earned their parts.
Oh, there's no question. I'm not saying he's not even a great, like, British guy funny name's not a great actor. But,
British guy, funny name.
You know who I mean.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
But
Pitch meeting, just the way they rag on him is so awesome.
I would just like to see what a world would look like where, say, he's Sherlock and that's it. And, Sarah Michelle Gellar is Buffy and that's it. And, all their roles are filled by other...
I mean, I go one step further and just not even let her do that.
Like, not let her do anything?
Yeah. Maybe her career should have maybe been a non-starter.
But she has done other things.
All right, so but
Cruel Intentions,
but like where does that where in your world does that lead? Like you're only allowed to do one movie?
It's not necessarily that. It's just more of what would a world look like with more variety of everything.
Well, I mean, we'd have less
Instead of these
millionaire
consolidations.
movie stars. I'd be happy with that.
And even less movie theater. Like, there's still just a few big Hollywood ones. Like, I would love to see.
Bollywood puts out like 7 movies every weekend. Like premieres 7 movies in their theaters every weekend.
Yeah, like something like that. Like, that's what I mean. And
But no, it's same 7 actors every week. Like they just work a lot. No, now it's more diverse and there's more people. But at one point it was very.
But that
very
got me excited.
non-diverse.
Where it's like 7 movies a week. Like, I want to see 7 different movies. But then if they're coming from the same studio, it kind of defeats the purpose.
I was actually watching. Flagrant just interviewed a guy from India that's got like 17 lawsuits against. He's a comedian.
Okay.
And he was a Bollywood actor originally, and a fairly good one.
I do like Bollywood movies.
And he made a joke where, like, America used to bitch about Bollywood movies because they were 3 hours and they were over the top and, a big spectacle. And so they changed them. So now more Bollywood movies are under the 2-hour mark and, a little less spectacle. And then Marvel came out and made 3-hour epics that are over the top and big spectacles. Like, so Marvel is just the Bollywood 2.0 with better special effects. And I almost died. I'm like, that is a brilliant point. That's what Bollywood used to be. Bollywood was constant.
All the Marvel
spectacle.
fans watching Morbius is available for download now, and no one has downloaded it or watched it.
Yeah, no, Ryan did.
I have told multiple people it's available, and none of them have watched it, including myself.
What do you think of the hash rosin?
It was very good, actually. Just the fact that I smoked that much and didn't die.
It is really good.
Testament to that.
Yes.
Thank you.
And if your bass player can make it here, he can have one too. Do you have band tonight? Are you guys streaming tonight? Do we have answers to these questions?
I think after 420, British.
Yeah, we're just, I didn't mean for that to happen. Yeah. I'm gonna have some hash, and then so I'm just. We don't need to do it, but I made a PowerPoint and I want to go through it. So I'm gonna make you guys. We're gonna recap where Thor has been and what has been going on with Thor since.
I could use a refresher before Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, and this one's broken down. Graphically, it's broken down quite a bit, but into like just chunks. But I can get into detail on any one of the headlines you wish. So we're just going to say headlines, and if there's anything you want to know about, hit the chat or Zach will ask.
I want to know, is Kat Dennings going to be in it?
That is a good question. We're going to talk about where she was last and where she should be next.
I never really paid attention to Darcy for the first few movies, and then one day somebody showed me pictures of Kat Dennings in a costume. Like, that's the nerd girl? Okay. I'm a little more interested.
I don't think you're allowed to talk when I'm hitting fucking shit anymore. You're not normally this funny. Have you been practicing joking at home? No. Zach's in the mirror telling one-liners to himself. So I need to share. Oh, crap. Not that button. Share.
And I want to know where Princess Padme gets her metal mask in Thor 4. Her metal helmet.
Got going on here.
That's got to come from somewhere.
I'm not sharing the right thing. Yes, it comes from the classic idea of Thor being like Thor having a very similar costume. Oh, this is weird. Why won't this let me share screen?
Would her helmet have magic powers of any sort, the way her hammer does? Well, his hammer, his axe.
Like, you mean his old helmet in the comic books? Which was,
With
I
the
think,
wings?
kind of how he flew.
I think he... Yeah, he does fly in the comics.
He sure does, bud. Oh, crap. No, that isn't it.
Disaster here.
Oh, yeah, we're stone people trying to figure something out that... Oh, I know why it was much easier before. Do you know why?
Nope.
Because you had it in a window, and I have it in this. So if I go to full screen, it's going to keep stealing this screen. I hope at least. Oh, no. Oops. I got to be over here.
Technical difficulties. Please bear with us.
Oh, crap. I hit the wrong function key.
I'll smoke a bowl to entertain the crowd.
I mean, just for the moment, I'm going to do this.
Uh-oh. Now we've frozen ourselves.
Oh, wait. Cancel. That's why it just wants me to do this. Sorry. That's amazing. Here's a new music video from 30 Going on 13.
I drown myself in
have us if tomorrow don't come.
All right, we figured it out. Zach is a genius. All right, so how did we Thor 4? How did we get here? So just release dates so you know when the stuff came out.
You know, I'm not even like you're so familiar with this stuff. I think some viewers would even be shocked to know there was 3 Thor movies. Like number 2 is something people forget.
Oh yeah, and unfortunately, they've pushed it down our throats so fucking much since that we have no choice but to recognize it as a film.
But again, that's as someone who watches the ads and stuff like
Yeah,
that. I
that's
only
true.
know about this stuff because of hanging out with you. And I like this stuff more than the average person as well.
That is a very good point. I might be a little crazy. But yes, there is 4...
You're just the right demographic for that.
Oh yeah, they own me.
And our viewers fit into that demographic as well.
Then I hope they appreciate this. Thor 1 came out in 2011. It's actually the second film in our second or third film. Captain America come out first? It's a movie I
In
often forget
2011?
exists.
Oh my god, back then it was only 2.
I can't remember. Yeah, there was like, this is literally like Thor. The original Thor is either the second or third film in the entire Marvel universe. Like it came out right at the beginning. So Hemsworth has been there. He's the longest lasting actor right now.
I saw a
I
comparison.
guess Sam Jackson.
Like somebody counted how many Marvel movies there are, and it's like 28 or 29 now.
27 and then 5 TV properties.
And then I forgot they compared this to something else, like how many movies there are about, like, it was something ridiculously common, like World War II or something. And there's like more Marvel movies.
More Marvel video property, probably, yes. Especially now that Netflix is being the Netflix shows are being reintroduced as partial canon, so now that's automatically for other shows that are part of it. And Shield for 2 seasons until they leave the universe, apparently.
Yeah, and actually this person...
Well, that makes all of Shield in canon because now we have multiverse. God damn, there's a lot of property. Yeah, no, that's probably correct.
Yeah, and they included the TV shows in terms of running time and added it into movies, and then it just blows up even more.
Yeah. And this is a good example because here's Chris Hemsworth, who's in all of the Avengers movies as well as 4 of his own solos, meaning he has the most solo films.
I so remember my teenage years before the first even X-Men movie. Me and my friends who all loved comic books would say, "Man, how come there aren't good superhero movies? How come we haven't gone crazy with this stuff? We would die for this sort of thing." And now it's just
the 7 Marvel properties, or the 5 Marvel properties I'm originally, or 7, are just from WandaVision forward. If we add now Netflix being canon and like based on, and I'm spoiling parts of Doctor Strange, but which is in the preview now, so
that's
I don't
so
go back.
ridiculous. It's true.
But
7 shows just as Wanda.
They clearly made Professor X to be the cartoon version. Like he's wearing an olive green suit and a gigantic yellow hover chair.
Are you counting MODOK in this as well?
Oh no, MODOK is not canon.
Which got canceled. There's not going to be season 2.
Well, it's because Patton Oswalt's stuck in space on his way to Mars.
Is that on Space Force?
Yeah, it's really awesome. Really creepy, funny, and creepy at the same time. So we have Dark World came out in 2013. So again, really early in the series, right after the first Avenger movie. It was an okay film. But it's a little boring. It's a little...
I think you need to get rid of the comment.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, but not canon. Well, maybe multiverse, right? So everything could be canon now. But Marvel does have an insane amount of properties. Like, even if we just count live action, they have a ton of properties available right now.
How many cartoons are there right now? So there was What If...
What If, like all of the cartoons?
And MODOK.
Like cartoons being made or are made.
Since Wanda.
So yeah, MODOK, Spider-Man First Class, or First Freshman Year, the new X-Men one coming out. As well as there's a continuous Spider-Man, Spider-Verse 1 and 2. And then there's
a Spider-Man
also...
cartoon right now?
Yeah, he's young. He's part of the Avengers.
I had no idea. Is it Miles Morales?
No, it's Peter
Peter
Parker.
Parker. Okay.
Future Peter Parker. And then we have a really good film come out, which is Thor Ragnarok in 2017. It kind of redefined how Marvel movies could be made.
It's one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. Taika Waititi's, as we were talking about at the beginning, very ingenious.
This one was cooler and better than he expected as well, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, as the writer of the films, hilariously. Even
the first scene in this where Thor's hanging from the chain and pausing his speech of the bad guy. Oh, this movie was brilliant.
Oh yeah, and we just haven't smoked anything in a while. They have a lot of fun while kind of being self-aware that Marvel movies got a little ridiculous. So
Helen
here's
was a
something
little
way over the
too
top,
invincible.
which is why she only lasted one film.
But that's
But she
ridiculous,
might not
too.
be dead. Like Thanos destroyed the ship and pretty much killed Thor, and he got saved.
It's almost oxymoronic where you can have someone that is that powerful and take it out in one movie. Which they did with Carnage too. Like, why do you introduce one of the coolest characters and then kill him off in one movie? The one that everyone's been waiting for to see this guy. Actually, kind of blew it with Venom. I don't really like the Venom movies that much.
I think the first Venom movie's good. Tom Hardy did a great job. It's well voiced. It's well acted. It's fun. The ending's a little stupid. I'm down for that. I agree.
I just view it as it feels like you'd be saying that if they did Deadpool as PG-13.
Oh no!
Oh, I still like it.
No. That was a huge. I talked about that for a year as Deadpool was coming out. I'm like, if they PG this thing, I'm out.
But that's kind of the thing with Venom.
And the first one they could get away with it. They needed to build an audience, and it was pretty good.
There's
was okay,
no audience
and
you need to build with
I didn't.
an awesome monster
Why not?
that bites people's heads off. And
Well, I didn't even notice that it wasn't as violent as it should have been. Okay, Venom can be taken from multiple points of view. Carnage can't. Okay, Cletus Cassidy cannot be taken from different points of view. There should have just been death and carnage and bodies torn asunder. And instead we got, oh, look what's happening over there. There was, yes, it's completely agree.
I'm upset about that too. I just felt that way about Venom as well.
I didn't, because I read Agent Venom, where Agent Venom's not nearly as violent. He's a mercenary not a mercenary. He's out there doing good, and there's some ones that he's very violent. There's others where he's much more calculated, and I just took this one as more of a calculated character.
I just wish that I always had different categorizations of what I thought were R-rated superheroes and villains, like Wolverine, Deadpool.
I agree. If they're Wolverine solo
Carnage
stuff should be R-rated, and they did that.
There has I think Logan was the one where he was.
Yeah, Logan's R-rated.
Oh man, yeah, that was.
And that's what you want to see, but then you want to be able to go back to the X-Men, and it's not as that can be.
I was
PG-13.
always disappointed by his portrayal in those movies.
I said today I don't hate him in it. I'm just not a fan of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
I don't hate him either.
He's good, but that's not my Wolverine at all. I agree with you. And of course, this year we have Love and Thunder coming out, which not R-rated, but
back to Thor.
It's going to be really good. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be horrible.
Is Taika Waititi?
Yes.
Okay, I'm hopeful.
Both directing and acting in it.
Yeah.
He's
Who
Cork.
is he?
He's
Oh,
always
that's
been
fine.
Cork.
Is that the Rock guy?
Yeah. He's always been him.
That's him?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. He's doing a good job acting as some strange weirdo.
You were just mad, though. He took a role, though. That should be some unknown actor that's just as good.
It's true, but I also get human nature when you want to put yourself in your own work. The Tom Bombadil thing for Lord of the Rings. Some people think that it was Tolkien inserting himself in the story.
Oh.
And this video I watched didn't even cover that as one of the options. They went through 5 different options. And man, there's a lore of angels, and Gandalf and them were from almost apprentices of the angels and stuff. That's where they came from.
Oh, I did not know it goes that deep.
Very deep, yeah. Oh, thank you for the follow.
Oh, thank you very much for following. We are we're talking about we just talk about Marvel stuff and geek stuff and movies, but at the moment we are talking about
And Spoken Weed.
And we smoke a lot of weed. Speaking of which, we packed that for a reason. Or did we already hit that?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, we got to finish the bowl then. Sorry, what was that name?
Chaos
Puppy. Love it.
It is a great name.
Bongo time for Chaos Puppy. Back to Thor. So, yes, we have Thor: Love and Thunder coming out in 2020 this year, July 8th, I want to say, or 6th, or something like that. And I just can't wait for it. This is another one that potentially should be R-rated, just because Gore the God Butcher is a pretty violent character.
Is it rated R? It's not.
No.
Oh.
Taika Waititi doesn't do rated R. He does palatable, fun movies.
He did Deadpool 2, didn't he? No, sorry. I'm thinking of the kid from one of his movies.
Yeah. So, the first Thor film, Thor is about to be king. This is kind of where we start off. They're praising him. Thor is the greatest. Loki doesn't agree, though. Thor does bad. By that, I mean, so Thor, after Loki lets in the frost giants to attack the tomb,
I don't remember any of this stuff. This is
Thor starts a war on the frost giant planet of Helmnir, or whatever it's called. I can't remember all the names.
This movie's like 2011, right?
Yep.
11 years
And
ago.
And like I wrote all this without going to rewatch or go over any of this. I was like, I know these movies. There's no problem.
I think there was blue aliens in it.
Daddy gets mad at him and throws his hammer at Earth. And then he is sent to Earth with no powers.
He should really tighten up his hammer.
Meets Jane. Does good. And gets his hammer back. But at the end of it, he's realized that he is not yet ready to take the throne and has some learning to do. So he still not king. So that's where we left off in the first one. He's just still not king.
I think it's a Lion King song. Just not born to be king.
So
very popular on Twitch.
In this one, though, Bor did bad instead of Thor doing bad.
Who's Bor?
Bor is Thor's grandfather. So many years ago, Thor fought the
Odin's dad.
Odin's dad.
Is Bor someone actually from
Odin Borson.
Norse mythology?
I don't know if Bor is still part of that. I know Odin, Thor, Loki. So yeah, I'd imagine Bor is.
I should look that up because I never really knew Odin in traditional.
You
mythology.
should watch the Johnstones.
That's a favorite ska band of mine.
They're all incarnated Norse gods, but they live in like Wisconsin, and they own a bar and shit. No, not really. Yes, no. It's like one of those weird HBO Max shows that are like it's dark and funny, but not really. But yeah, it's a good show.
Did you watch American Gods by Neil Gaiman?
I watched the first like 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, I read the book. When
the opening. That's where
that.
it starts off with the angel and the demon talking on a wall, right?
You have such good memory for like scenes and openings. Like,
well,
I remember a generic story of gods being on Earth and losing.
But that story gets told over and over again in all the TV shows I love. Like Supernatural does that storyline. Constantine is that storyline, both the TV show and the movie and the comics. And so like that's just a common theme in Christian-based, right? Like sci-fi or horror or what do we call that genre? I guess it's sci-fi horror.
I was talking about all the variety and stuff, and it's like, but it's from Neil Gaiman, and I've read lots of stuff he does. It's like maybe I should be giving more people chances than just.
There you go. So yeah, Bor fought the Dark Elves and then hid the Ether, which is the Reality Stone, inside a wall. And then Jane gets red stuff on her, which is the Ether. It goes in her and impregnates her.
I don't remember any of this.
She's studying. Her and Darcy are studying anomalies on Earth, and they find a gateway to the Ether. Like a car is balanced in the air, spinning because gravity's not applied in that.
I know this is a movie I've seen, but you're describing stuff I don't remember seeing.
All right. Odin gets COVID and takes a nap for a while. No, he gets because of Loki or something, he goes into an Odin sleep. Each king, like each
What's
new
it-
son, just renames everything with his name.
I love how it's called an Odin sleep and that actually means something.
Yes, just like the Odin Force is the Thor Force or the Boar Force, depending on what generation you are.
What is an Odin sleep?
It's where
Like being frozen
the
in
king, like,
carbonite?
sort of, he freezes himself and goes to sleep for a couple years if he's not needed, or just so he can live longer.
See, this is the kind of stuff I'd love to study in science. Be like, what are the parameters of Odin sleep and what defines it? How long?
Well, they explain
process
it. They
is going
explain it with some their science in the movie. So Loki gets his mom killed, and then Jane has a stonectomy. But this is a couple of reasons why this movie is important, and that is in Endgame they go back in time. That's when Thor and Rocket are in this movie essentially, and Rocket has to go get the ether out of Jane and then put the ether back in Jane, which they couldn't do on Asgard with their tech, but Tony Stark found a way apparently. Yes, and then this movie now, I think her having the stone is what's going to give her cancer, and becoming Thor cures her cancer until she stops being Thor and he comes back. But this is the last time we see Jane until Endgame, and even then we don't see her. She just takes a nap, and we won't see her again until midway through Thor 4, the Gore War.
But she is all signed up for the movie. And
yeah, she was kind of dwindling in the public eye, and then all of a sudden she walked out on stage holding the hammer at a press conference, and the whole fucking world went nuts.
I would actually like to see that video because that would be pretty cool.
Keep a check mark, and we'll check it out after we're done this. So in this one, Odin did bad because he imprisoned his daughter in Hell. That's Hell with one L, not two. And she just kind of sits there until Odin dies, and it's his powers
Kate
keeping
Blanchett.
her. Yes. Thor finds Dad sparkles, which literally he just off into space.
He should play the next Batman.
Sister breaks Thor's toys and then his friends. So hella that infamous scene that originally in the trailer is them in a like New York alleyway, but in the movie ended up being where New Asgard is. But she catches it and crushes it, and it turns to dust, and Thor's fucked. And then Loki runs, and him and Thor end up getting kicked out of the Bifrost and end up on Sakaar. So Thor finds new friends really quickly, like as if he did not just lose all of his friends.
They were dispatched pretty quickly too.
Do you know their names?
No.
The Warriors 4 or 5, I don't remember.
Oh, I knew that's
it. Yeah, I know. I look them up every time we do this, and I still can't remember them.
they have individual names that sound like Lord of the Rings names.
Yes. Then Thor kills his sister. And not really. Throws a bigger demon at his sister and kills Asgard, really. And Thor has to move because he destroyed Asgard.
I really liked the cleverness of the solution where the prophecy says Asgard's going to fall. And so he just makes it happen with that demon whose whole purpose is to try and destroy Asgard.
Yeah.
And so she gets it. Like her prophecy comes true, but she's got garbage.
Yeah. She gets to rule nothing and probably just float in space.
I do remember Asgard is a people, not a place. So now they're living in Norway or something, right?
And that leads us to Thor 4, a Gore War. So, which is, actually Thor, Love, and Thunder. So you asked about Darcy.
Yeah, is she going to be in this?
Probably not. Oh, right. Thor, I forgot I actually did one for this. So Jane got buff. She's now Thor. So female Thor, however you want to say it.
Do we know how she got it?
So there's this footage of her kind of like hovering over the altar of Mjolnir.
Okay.
And I think what's going to happen is she's going to be ill. She misses Thor. So she goes to New Asgard just to visit, and she ends up touching the hammer that she remembers so well. And the hammer somehow is going to recognize her and put itself back together.
I believe it can be wielded by someone who's worthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she's worthy.
Which is why Cap could use it. But I mean, still, it's crushed. It's, his sister fucked it up. So
we got to find out why she gets the power and how it gets.
I think it's just going to be she touches it and she has the power and they're going to move on.
Oh, that'd be lame.
Well, the hammer's going to put itself back together and imbued her with the power.
But again, why her? Like, there's nothing really
they'll,
exceptional about her.
they'll give us something and yada yada. Same reason, like in the comic book, it's not very well explained why all of a sudden she can be Thor with the hammer when they wrote out Thor as a secret identity a long time ago. Because Thor used to be Blaine something, or whatever his name is in the first movie.
Well, I guess we'll find out on July 8th.
Yes. Thor doesn't like fighting anymore, so he's in the trailer. They're telling us he's trying to put down the weapon and not.
Is he back in shape or no?
Ugh.
Or is he going to be for this movie?
He'll be like fat for the opening scenes, and then he'll
do the Rocky Balboa thing and do
yeah,
the training.
apparently battle ropes with gigantic chains. And
Right, we see that in the trailer, so he'll be buff.
should have just made him fat for the rest of the thing.
Oh,
See, and then have Jane still love him.
the actor himself put so much work in. I'm sure he wants to show it off.
I know. Thor meets other gods. So we've talked about this a bunch here. I don't think I've taken it down because I love these images.
See, wouldn't it have been cool if he was on Moon Knight? Because there's gods there, and there was some reason for him to be there.
Oh, I was right. They wrote it and they filmed. They didn't do special effects for it, but Gore was supposed to show up in a post credit for. Apparently, supposed to show up.
How did they not get that done in time?
Oh no, they chose not to do it.
Why?
They pulled it because of timing. Yeah, we fall prey to that shit all the time. Gore kills some stuff, so we've seen the big scene of the big beast.
Who plays Gore?
Oh yeah, we have that an image of that right here. Gore is played by Christian Bale, and this is what he looks like in the comics. In a more vibrant version. Yeah, this is Christian Bale. What the concept art for his character will look like. This black shroud you're seeing around him, as well as his sword from the other image, are a version. They're made by Null, the king of the symbiotes. So it's kind of like a symbiote, but you're in total control of it, and it's very powerful. Because it was a weapon of a god. And that is it for Thor for the Gore War. And now we will I'm on the wrong screen. How am I still on the wrong screen? There we go. Perfect. All right, we're back up here. Stoner. So Darcy, where we left Darcy last, she was let's have a bowl first.
She was on WandaVision last.
Yes. So where I think she is and what she's doing, I'll tell you after this Bongo Time.
She's Jane's best friend,
right? She was Jane's. No, Darcy was doing her dissertation under Jane. So yes, they were friends, but she was also Jane's student.
Okay.
So now Darcy is a credited astrophysicist.
With lots of experience.
With a lot of experience in these Marvel big things.
She helped solve the Wanda problem.
But before that, she got big because she was part of the convergences with Thor 2 and stuff.
So now she could even have her own show or do something.
Well, yeah, she's a very strong character on her own, and I have an idea of where I think she is, and I'll tell you in a minute. So, where I think she is, well, Darcy was the front row seat for WandaVision, as we said. She helped bring down the dome, helping free the people. And where she is now is uncertain, although I think she would have went with Spectre or Photon, same person, to Tip.
What's Tip?
The space station branch of Shield. No, Sword.
Which is formerly Shield.
Yes, but in the comics, they're two entities, Shield and Sword. I mean, not everything they did was clever. Okay.
I love stuff like that. That is clever.
But the space station's name is Tip, and we see that in the end of
And then
Captain
you
Marvel.
You can introduce extra stuff later, like helmet. And,
But we see
flail.
Tip, we see Tip at the end of Spider-Man: Far From Home. Nick Fury is up there looking for his shoes.
Okay. So you think that might be where she is?
Yeah, the WandaVision post-credit is a Skrull coming and saying to Photon, "We want you to come up here." And I think she would have been like, "You gotta bring my girl Darcy." And I think they're both up on Tip now, and I think Darcy will be a crucial part of helping manage and run whatever, like the background.
So do you think we're likely to see her in Miss Marvel?
Yeah, I'm thinking she'll be in the Marvels.
Okay.
Not in Miss Marvel, in the Marvels. If anything, she'll get it. Well, maybe maybe in Miss Marvel. She could be one of those ground level characters that kind of like a Coulson now, but no, she's an astrophysicist with too much attitude.
Great Planet Smasher song. Too much attitude.
Speaking of music, did you know Zach just made a music video? Here it is.
If tomorrow don't come.
So that was 30 Going on 13's new song, Nemesis. Check them out on all platforms, but Spotify and YouTube. And yeah, that's him.
Hope you liked it.
All right, that was our breakdown of where, like, that was all of Thor. As best as I could recollect it, stoned, and
That was a really good job, actually.
put it out there for you guys. So, yeah, that was Thor. I planned on doing that with Doctor Strange. I just never really got around to it.
Well, you still can because we're not doing spoilers of the movie itself. So,
There's no way I can write that objectively.
Yeah, that's true.
Like this one, I can still do because I really don't know what's going to happen in Thor. I have some good theories. You got any theories you want to bring up about Love and Thunder? Wow, she actually stopped almost identical to the music
Maybe that
It's
was
mildly eerie.
maybe that was the plan all along.
Maybe her and I both have that magic. Sorry, my wife was vacuuming while we were playing the song. And I'm like, she knows we're streaming, and then she stopped like the second the music stopped. It was really weird. Yeah. Do you have any?
I guess I'm just more.
theories or pitches for this one.
I'm more curious to know how Jane gets the hammer, how it fixed, like because it's crumbled, right? Like it needs
Yeah.
to be fixed.
And Dimitri doesn't exactly have good hands anymore.
Yeah, we went through that, so we know that it's supposed to be like a star-powered thing. So there's got to be a really good thing, other than it just kind of fixed itself.
Well,
You know?
I agree. I expect a little more. Like, if it could just fix itself, how come it didn't fix it? Well, I guess because Thor never went back and tried. Like, Thor never went back to that spot
just
after
seems
he
they-
came back, and he's like, I should check on my hammer.
I look at it as they set up these very elaborate rules for the behavior of the hammer, and then they don't really. They better give an equally good explanation, I think.
Thanks for smoking along.
Thanks for following.
I love how that
God,
one
dude.
says following, and the other one says thanks for smoking. Like, the actual animation across the screen says thanks for smoking along.
It might have. We might have just been high missed it.
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't change. Oh, right. But that shouldn't be different. It's the same program doing both things.
Which is more likely meaning we missed it. And we'll go back on stream and we're both looking away while it did it. Because there was definitely
Is that name Goddamn? God Doom.
God Doom.
Oh,
Here, bong for
speaking
God
of
Doom.
which, yeah, we'll talk about Doom in a second too. Just for a second, but we're going to talk about Doom.
Victor Von Doom?
Victor Von Doom.
Oh, my favorite. One of my favorite villains.
I'm going to start reading a comic book series, specifically the new version.
You reminded me I have been and I forgot. So I've been paused for a while. Is he going to be in the new Fantastic Four movie?
I think he's going to have his own movie, and I think all of Secret Wars is
I
going
would
to be
actually
about him.
I would really like that.
But, okay, so they have to start setting that up now, though, if this is the direction they're going. So, Secret Wars and War World. War World is first Kang does this once, and then Doctor Doom does it. So, Doctor Doom, after realizing these, what did they call them in Doctor Strange when the two universes were coming together? And I've talked about this so much recently, and I forget. Not convergence.
Smushing.
Yeah, when they smushed together, he managed to
The
escape
universes were smushing.
and create his own little pocket universe where he made an Earth and then populated it with like all the different things and resurrected a bunch of heroes and then made them fight each other. So like all the
Where did this
Spider-Man,
happen?
this all happened, and Doom did this to kind of the way Kang pruned everything to make one string, as they're saying here.
Yeah.
Doom did that by bringing all the universes together and making them fight to the death and then making one universe.
That sounds awesome.
And Secret Wars is what the comic book series that starts off that storyline is called, and that's one of the movies coming. So they could just go with Kang, who they're already building and who's done that in the past as well, similarly, and continue on. They'll be fine. But they've been begging for a reason to introduce Fantastic Four and Doom, and like he's a hugely popular character amongst.
Yeah. I love
Like
him.
he's more popular than the comic books he's seen in.
Yes.
I don't like the Fantastic Four.
Me neither.
They're boring as shit.
No, they were cool when I was a kid, but
Even Reed Richards' story, like
all
so-
the movies have sucked, so now I don't care anymore.
but the comics kind of did too. Like there's two comic book series in Marvel that inevitably lead to the main character getting out of the written universe and into reality. Okay, Marvel did this twice. Once with Reed Richards, twice now with Deadpool. And I mean, Reed Richards is boring as shit.
And we've been through this, and I really like Reed Richards. 'Cause
Oh, I know.
He's Mr. Scientist Man.
And that's why I'm an Iron Man fan, because he's Mr. Engineer.
Yeah, and I don't really. I mean,
For the record, I am not a a bandwagon Iron Man fan. I was a fan of Iron Man before the movies came out. I've always liked it. There's this really awesome comic book series that takes place with the Mandarin, but like both of their suits are derived from technology from thousands
I
of
guess
years
I'm
ago.
laughing because I'm like, who would care? No one thinks Iron Man's cool anyway.
Oh my god, Iron Man's one of the greatest characters, and like Demon in a Bottle.
They just did him so well in Marvel. I agree.
But the comic books were already that like.
I never
he's
thought he was cool.
Oh
in
man,
the
he's
comics.
such a great like. He's better than Batman.
Real life made him cool. The comics I've never read.
Oh no, I did like him as a comic book character. Now Demon in a Bottle is a good series, but there's a series that date from the 90s that, yeah, like his suit, his dad found that technology, and the suit is actually like the 10 rings are part of the same thing.
Speaking of which, I just rewatched Shang-Chi, and I'm like, where are these rings again? Like, they've never been mentioned again. They're brought up as this big deal, kind of on par with the Infinity Stones. Like, it's been a while.
Not on par with the Infinity Stones, but on par with like relics like.
With one of them, I think that's what they were trying to say.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. They're an ancient relic.
And Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner are there. They're like, yeah, we really need to know about these. We don't know what it is, and it's super powerful.
No, I get it.
It's like, okay, it's been.
There's a lot of open threads out there that we are anxiously awaiting to.
I don't think they're ever going to do anything with it again until maybe Shang-Chi 2 or something.
Why do you have no faith? Well, no, that's the thing, though. They have to build these universes in different ways, and that's part of it, right? So they haven't done more. Well, they have. Doctor Strange set that up, but I'm like, why didn't they get any of the other magic users in?
I feel like they're writing.
Like, why didn't Shang-Chi come help fight Wanda? Wong's friends with Shang-Chi. Where's Bruce Banner? Why would and that's what I mean. Like, so we could demand this of them and want the crossover to continually be
I almost
always,
feel like
but isn't that
their
too
Phase
much?
4 plan has been, okay, we've got a few good ideas like the Doctor Strange line and all this stuff, but it's almost like they're doing Lost style writing and farming it out to third parties where it's like, okay, you guys do this movie and do some Lost type shit and leave some threads, and then when we're all done, we'll see what we can patch together with the core of kind of good ideas we had. That's what it feels like.
So
to me.
calculated. I don't think so. I believe that some of
They're
these
feeling it
threads are got messed up because of bad timing.
They
Again,
threw them off for sure, but
Captain America and Winter Soldier was supposed to be a much different, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. Captain America.
I'm running out of faith that some Grandmaster plan is going to come together and tie them all together. Versus...
You think just one day Feige's going to pull a JJ and just say, fuck it, I got no ending, we're just ending it?
I think he's got a core of stuff with the Doctor Strange core brand where he's tying in certain things, but
See, you got to go rewatch a bunch to remember that they've set up other things, and
Yeah.
now it's just bigger than it used to be. Like,
it just feels like there's a bunch of stuff. That stuff's out in right
Okay,
field,
so-
that stuff's out in left field.
why do we never have a pen on this table?
But he's got his little inner basement team.
So think about it like this, right? Like Iron Man was one film, right? And then they added. You can get the diagram I'm trying to build if I had a pen. Like then the next 3 or 4 films
Like
come out, and they just kept
expanding tree.
Yeah, so the tree's just gotten really big now, and they're putting out like 5 properties a year instead of 2. You just didn't have time to even understand that they were building these threads until Ultron came out type idea. Like most people are just like, these are really cool. Oh, neat. They kind of tied it together, Avengers. But like, there weren't as many of me out there at the time. There was like, I know all of this. And they've always been kind of out there, and they don't pay off every thread. So just threads you should forget now are probably Eternals. Carnage and Venom as you knew them before, because I think they're being introduced in a different way through the MCU now. But other than that, I think you can bet on all of the other threads paying off.
So in your little analogy there, I get what you're saying. It started out, actually, I would say a little more the backwards of what you're saying, where there was all these threads and then they converged into this neat point.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
By the end. And you're like, wow, they did start at all these points and stuff started tied together in all these cool ways, and then it converged.
Oh, but then we need like a 3D model to turn it to be like, but there's also these threads that went outside of that are coming back in now. And like, yes, it's more like a Vine.
All that type of Vine stuff. It's perfect. What I feel now, though, is what they're doing is they've got all these skinny vines running parallel to each other, and they're not doing a good job weaving them together at all yet. And maybe at the end it'll tie together and be like, wow, they were doing it all along. But man, it does not feel at all like they got that plan.
3 properties that tied together relatively tightly were Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So that might be like 3 vines that are twisted.
So they're over. So you remember in Loki where they had all that they were showing them? That's what they literally gave you a diagram of how Marvel is going to look for a bit.
And that looked like a healthy version of that in the
You just think there's a lot more
I think in
vines
real
out
life,
there that aren't.
if we were in the offices, they'd be like,
name a
everything's
couple.
on fire.
Name a couple, and I'd love to talk about them.
So Shang-Chi's just so separate from everything in the way we just talked about it, even though it's a good movie.
Yet it's heavily tied to Iron Man, as it should have been.
Okay, but I just want to see the rings involved somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Those need to pay off again, and they will.
Okay, so Wanda had the big payoff coming in with Doctor Strange, so that's taken
Yes.
care of. Falcon,
And then Falcon, Black Widow, and Hawkeye kind of all tie together really well.
How did Hawkeye tie to
Yolanda.
Falcon? Okay, she showed up at the end.
Yeah, like the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, okay, so those are 3 coming together.
That's all Val, Elaine, the Vice President of the United States of America, the VP. That's all Elaine's team that she's building. So Yolanda, John, psychopath, Captain America dude.
So okay, you know what? Those are maybe the picture is coming together.
And then over here, you also have in that team that brings back all the way to Civil War.
Really like Black
You have
Widow
Baron
or Falcon.
Zemo that joins into there in that team. You did have Thunderbolt Ross, but he has died. So we're going to see if Marvel's really going to tap into Disney's right to recreate. We were talking about the dead celebrities and, you know, the movie coming out this year with the puppy and Marilyn Monroe's boyfriend there. They're all without a cause. James Dean. How they're just using people's likenesses now. Like, we'll see if they do that because Thunderbolt Thaddeus Ross died this year.
Yeah, and he was supposed to play a.
Well, that's his character, Red Hulk.
Yeah.
But he's the leader of the Thunderbolts. He normally puts them together, which is just a less moralistic Avengers that inevitably become evil. Or the whole time they were evil, depending on which comic book. Or the whole time they were evil and just hiding as other characters, which we've talked about the difference between those two threads. And they're probably going with the start off like neutral, but they're all kind of bad.
I guess Venom and Carnage, they finally tied it into to Spider-Man. He's finally said, "I need to go talk to Peter Parker."
Yeah, but then he went back to his own universe. So what? That little quarter filled of goop is going to make its way all the way the fuck to New York or to Boston or wherever the fuck he is at the end of this.
Something with that.
I'm irritated by that.
Eternals is just.
It seems like everything.
Eternals is.
It seems like everything outside of Spider-Man himself, Sony is just doing kind of fucking up for money right now. And they're failing horribly because it seems like that's their attitude. So Venom, Morbius.
Oh, Morbius, that's another.
The horrible Vulture thread. Where'd he get his suit from?
Yeah, in an alternate universe.
Yeah, like, I get that, like, he didn't build the shit. He had an engineer with him the whole time. So, like...
So it makes no sense that...
He said things like thingamajigger and get me that over there. Like, he knew nothing about this. He was a construction worker.
He's not Iron Man, yeah.
So where the fuck did Sue come from? Like, what? A couple of years in prison and what? He got 10 engineering degrees? Come on. Like, fuck this. Nothing made sense in Morbius. They pissed on that character. Like, they pulled in Amber Heard and just shit the bed. Oh, that's been said online about the Leafs a lot, and I'm fucking laughing every time it does. Anyways,
oh, my friend is so heartbroken about the Leafs losing. I was texting with him for days leading up to it. He was staying awake until 2-3 a.m. in Ireland just to watch the games live.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So I used to watch every game. I used to know hockey the way we talk about Marvel.
He does that about hockey, yeah.
And then one day I'm like, no, I spend so much money supporting this stupid fucking team. They never win. They never do anything. And I'm just tired of it. And I said, I'm not going to watch hockey for 1 year.
I saw something saying they have the longest streak of
yes, they do.
Ever now. They passed the record. This was the year.
Oh, no, they passed the record years ago, didn't they?
There was some count
Since
where
the
it's
Stanley
the
Cup.
45 years of not winning, and the last record was 44.
So
So wait, they must have won when like I was born.
69
Or
or 68 is notoriously it was the last time they won the cup.
so you even know that.
Yes.
We've been on the moon. Oh my god. They haven't been one since we've been on the moon.
So I said I would give them 1 year to earn it back, and I checked their stats at the end of the year, and I ended up going to a game. I helped Mike Carparelli from Carparelli Guitars make a guitar for Joffrey Lupul, forward for them at the time. And so we got to sit in his like family seat, not his family seats, sorry, his giveaway seats. And they shit the bed that night too. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. I just can't. I'm out. And I have watched about 35 seconds of hockey since. No, I probably watched a full game, but the other night when I was leaving the Queens, I checked out them play. I'm like, oh wow, they're doing really good. And then I realized I was watching the wrong blue, and it was Tampa Bay. I'm like, yep, this is why I think Chicago is actually my favorite hockey team.
It was a little confusing watching them play Tampa Bay
Oh, I know.
with the colors.
So, back to Marvel.
We just have it once. I gotta make sure.
1968. It is. So it is 100% accurate. In fact, there's a song about it. My 50 Mission Cap by Tragically Hip. But I'm not going to get into that too much. So yeah, to answer your question, I think Jane's on tip.
You mean Darcy?
Darcy, yes. Any other theories or questions or things pertaining to Thor before we wrap it up?
Not at this point.
And come back tonight and talk extensively about great name, what?
What's up?
That is amazing. He is smarter than both of us. Or she. I don't know.
Or them. Or it. Or who. Or why.
Who? Speaking of who,
On first?
you said there's a new who.
I don't know any details. There's a young British actor that got cast as the next Doctor Who.
All right.
So
I'm sure
That's
we'll
always
report
ex-
on that as time goes by. And oh my god, my wife just came up to the window. She's like waving at it. She
I'm
knows
not
that
sure
we're
what
easily
his name
distracted.
is,
So.
what their name is, but it's a little confusing. It's not an easy name like Michael. Or it might be, I just don't remember.
Well, bongo time for what?
Yeah. And we are actually just signing off.
But we will be back in 4.5 hours.
So please hit follow.
To talk. Yeah, follow, subscribe, depending on what platform you're on.
We smoke weed, talk about nerd stuff.
Hit all the number things or the button
Marvel
things.
and movies.
Well, we never do that. We never remember to say stuff like that.
Well, we are signing off. So. But there's a bond. Bond hit for you. What?
But we will be back at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hitting many more bonds. We will be joined again by our third, Mr. Pearson, to have a staring contest with the chat.
He always wins.
No, Gutter Mofo's beating him.
Shh, you're ruining them, Steve.
No, I want other people to attempt to. You can't have no hope.
It's true. The rare occasion, if you watch enough, you can beat Ryan staring at chat.
Although he's also known to fall asleep with his eyes slightly open, so he does win a lot.
At best, that's a draw.
No, we just never notice. No one ever calls him up for him because he's so still he's so still. It's so strange sometimes.
He's like Dr. Manhattan. He's at 4 places at once. He's just doing other
He is an interdimensional being. Yes. If you'd like to join us again tonight, you can join a theorist, a physicist, and a fourth dimensional being. Talking about
Nicolas Cage movies.
Again, which it is our last week. I promise you, we all will have picks not pertaining to Nicolas Cage.
I haven't run out of good Nicolas Cage picks.
I think we just run out of doing Nicolas Cage, though.
That's That's awesome. I don't even know how many you're supposed to have
Why do you age slower?
because he's got 33 bones.
Are vertebrae directly?
Don't question him. He's a genius. Who are we to not trust
Sure enough.
experts?
I believe everything I hear on YouTube. But yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about Con Air, 8mm, and Face.
All starring Nicolas Cage
I can't hear it. It's so bad.
at the height of his career too, or near.
And like my wife angrily screamed about this movie the whole
Well,
time
we've
to the
got
point where
lots
I'm
to
like,
talk about, yeah.
I need to like, can you a little like just disband that part and move on to some of the great dichotomy in the
I want to
writing
talk to
here.
her about it because I've got some ideas.
But there is some really good dichotomy going on. Like the actors are really portraying the mental anguish that
If this
You'd have to
really
go into-
happens,
yeah.
yes. If you believe it could happen. I don't think I want to reverse my vertebrae. That sounds very painful.
do you extra. I'm just thinking that extra bones in his vertebrae could just mean he has a vestigial tail.
7 extra bones, they're probably 7 feet tall at least.
Oh right, yeah. I guess inevitably you would have to grow extra bones if you were that tall.
Unless they're very small bones.
Bones don't just keep adding to their mass. They would. I don't know how that works. Do tall people have more vertebrae?
No. I thought they came in like baby teeth. Where you just keep adding vertebrae. And
I have no idea what's going on anymore.
in
But
20
please,
years, what is going to be like 30 feet tall?
please follow along as we're going to do one more bongo time as we get out of here. And we will be back at 10 p.m. to talk about Con Air, 8mm, and
I don't
Face.
just reverse my vertebrae. I inverse them sometimes too. It's a separate process. It entails different things.
I should know more about vertebrae. I worked on a project involving milling them out of other bones.
I would hate to be awake for that.
No, they came from donor. Oh no, I didn't work on real bones. I worked on casted
Or I
products
imagined you had someone there just having
that were
open
molded
back
to be the
surgery.
same size as human femurs. And then when it moved to the university in California, they were milling donor femurs to make vertebrae for people that had been in like major back
Reconstructive surgery, and you actually would replace vertebrae from ground up other bones.
That was the concept. I don't think it went very far, but I helped them with the initial idea.
That's crazy. Wow.
Well, I mean, we print this kind of stuff as well. But using human donor tissue is always the best version of what will work inside the body. Actually, now that we've mapped the genome even further, I'd imagine medically they could be inserting genetic material that was designed specific.
For that
So
person.
specific for that person that when they print the part, it is that person, which then defines the question of after you've replaced everything, it's like,
The
oh, crap.
Shipathesis.
Yeah, thank you. Are we at a point? Can we get to the point of Shipathesis? And at what point does our brain degrade past fixing our organs? That to just
I've
keep
thought
us
about
alive?
this stuff my whole life, and let's make it into the machines.
Well, I mean, that's the only way.
Just take out all your vertebrae. Just leave your spine exposed. It's fine.
No, I mean that you wouldn't have a spine. You would just have
You'd be
discs
so
of cartilage,
comfortable.
and you'd have just discs of cartilage and nerves.
Oh, it'd be
Your whole
horrific.
central nervous system
I
runs through your spine.
I couldn't imagine anything being worse than that. I'm getting queasy just thinking about it.
Someone tried to tell me that humans are the most resilient and like hardest to kill species on the planet.
I'm just picturing various videos I've seen where like someone gets walled against the wall and just goes to live.
Yeah, like no, we're horribly designed. We keep our almost every other animal hides their reproductive organs. We're just like, nah, let that shit swing.
Star Trek deals with this in Klingons being so much superiorly designed.
Yeah, like
Their
we're
bodies.
very poorly designed. And the human body is my argument for intelligent design. We just happened, and we happened horribly. We're a conscious experiment. Oh, we should talk about consciousness. As it just being a series of predictions and then corrections based on information. And somewhere in that interpretation is human consciousness.
I see what you're getting at with it.
We can talk about this tonight, though. We are signing off. Thank you for joining us. We will be back this evening. Anything you'd like to join? Or anything you'd like to add?
We're not real. We're just adaptive processes noticing ourselves. Processes. I'm just
processes. All right. Well, stay tuned and stay lifted. We will see you this evening. Oh, and here's some ducks.
Eight out of 10 pop punk bands cannot afford their basic needs in this post-COVID Blink-182 world. And much like Bernie, we are asking for your support.
Have you ever lied awake at night? Fraught with guilt? Wondering how you can help your local pop punk bands?
Do your friends and their friends post pictures and videos of their new pop punk project and you feel the urge to help out?
Do you consume record amounts of alcohol, wondering intensively how you could do your part?
Just one case of empty beer bottles can help your favorite pop punk band never grow up.
Your donation of empty alcohol containers will help fund the following projects. Your empties can keep this alive!
Contact Adam, Mike, Keegan, or Cheddar to arrange a pickup or drop-off, or you can make a donation online at 30goingon13.com. Don't forget to follow us on all socials and your favorite streaming platform.
Yeah, high score.
No matter where you go,